think the highlights for me is about the community. What I noticed about the fellowship is you have to work towards unity in a community. And we talk about community building, we talk about solidarity, we talk about being allies. But what does that mean in practical terms? What does solidarity really mean? And it means intersectionality. So getting a fellow that works on sexual and reproductive health, with a fellow who works on climate change, with a fellow who works on the media stuff, with, everyone is working towards health equity. But health equity is so broad. And in people's everyday business, we have these terms like Ubuntu that we keep saying, but we never interrogate what it really means. So for me, the main thing was that unity in community and that solidarity movement, because it's not just in South Africa. We're part of Atlantic Fellows globally, and these are people from Southeast Asia, from the global north as well, and it's about everyone's perspectives. So it's a very, very vibrant community. So Tekano actually wants to see what work you've done in the change space. What are you passionate about changing, and what steps are you taking to see that change is realized? And the journey for me personally is it gave me a paradigm shift. The same as the pandemic. Funny enough, I was a pandemic cohort, 2021. When you're a pandemic cohort, you're like, there's two things. You're kind of disadvantaged because it's during a pandemic, but I think I learned a few things about how we change things and how things are constantly changing. And to keep abreast of change, we have to not leave anyone behind. Because it's either everyone progresses or no one does. And I think that's what we also realized with the pandemic. You can't leave anyone behind. It's a very catalytic community, very diverse community. Like I always tell them, it's the most diverse fellowship. And the diversity is the strong point and also the hard part to manage as well. It was easy going through the process. I think the application itself, we had to write essays. And it's about talking about what work you do, about yourself. And when you're writing is when you actually start mapping out what you've done before and what you still want to do. So the process itself, the advice I would give people is be very authentic. It's important that it is an authentic application about where you are right now. I think the program itself is very interactive. So it's also not about what you're learning from the fellowship, it's also about what you can teach others. And what you teach others is not usually knowledge, it's also your experience, sharing your experience, because experience is a form of knowledge. In indigenous knowledge systems, experience is a truer form of knowledge. Because we also know that science, as a scientist, I know myself that science has bias built into it. Right now we're going towards artificial intelligence, which also has bias built into it. And if we don't shape the society we're going to live in, we're going to live in someone else's society. So it's about sharing. So be also open to teaching others, because we don't know what we don't know until we know it. So be very authentic and be honest in your application and where your journey is. Explain where your journey is, where your growth is. So that's the type of advice I would give prospective Tekano fellows, is to be really authentic. Because I think we live in a world with lots of where we don't know what's fake and what's not fake anymore. And the biggest thing for me is that we must cling on to the truth, because our lives depend on it.